Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Integrity Project. I'm your host, Roy Cochiolo, and today Stefano is going to give us the name of this podcast episode.
I want to pick your brain with the core values of integrity.
All right, let's do it.
And this is going to go, I think it's going to be very relevant to a lot of people. I'm going to hit you right with the first one. Keeping your word when no one is watching. So, remember what we were talking about in the previous episode. Are you a people pleaser? Or do you do it because you truly value what you're saying, what you say out of your own mouth? So, are you, Roy, keeping your word when no one is watching?
Yes. And listen, I think that what happens is that's where self-betrayal comes in. Part of integrity is being true to yourself and honoring the decisions you make for yourself. So, if I say to myself, I'm going to the gym, I go to the gym. I think that when you keep your word to yourself, you're able to create trust within your own body, which creates trust from other people. And then other people can trust you because they see what you say is what you do and what you do is what you say. And I'm going to add this is if you look at really successful people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, you can look at Steve Bartlett, Joe Rogan. When they say they're doing something, they do it. And you got to do that behind closed doors. It's like this podcast. I really didn't tell anybody I was doing a podcast until you came along. I said, I want to do a podcast. People introduced me to who you are. And it took me a while, but I did it. I created it. So yes, it's important. If you say to yourself, I keep my word, I'm not going to be masturbating the thought of other women.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'm not going to smoke weed tonight. Like those are small promises you have to keep to yourself, because if you don't, betrayal and especially self-betrayal will show up other places.
What about if you relapse? Are you allowed to relapse?
Of course, sure. You have to give yourself some grace. Like no one's going to be 100% perfect. It's not the question whether or not you're going to relapse. It's not the question whether or not I'm going to have these thoughts about somebody else or whether or not I have thought of going to smoke weed or doing something bad. Those thoughts come and go. The question is how quickly can I bring myself back to center?
Ah, got you. Which sometimes can be very challenging.
Of course. Sometimes, you know what? Listen, I had many addictions in my life, and porn was one of them.
Sure.
And I'd be like, I'm not watching porn tonight. But then my ex-wife at the time pissed me off, and I go do it.
Of course.
Right?
It's like drinking alcohol. Same thing.
I haven't watched that in years because I said to myself, I'm not doing it. And then every once in a while it come up, you have a quick look and you're like, that's not for me.
That's right. You just lost that vibe for it.
You lose that vibe for it because the need to fill that gap in me no longer exists as much. And sometimes it's like anything. I quit smoking 3 years ago, I think it was. I can't remember when I quit smoking. And I remember I was in Mexico with my group and everyone's having a cigarette. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to have one. I tried it. It was disgusting. And then I remembered why I quit smoking in the first place. So sometimes the relapse is a reminder of where you don't want to be.
I like that. That's good, man. Now, the cost of cutting corners. How small compromises lead to bigger consequences. Now, we also touched this on the previous episode, but this is going to go a little bit deeper. The cost of cutting corners. Now, you may have learned how to avoid those costs. But let's assume people like me and anyone else still haven't paid the price of these costing of corners.
I don't think there ever is the ability to cut a corner. There's no shortcuts. Some people have different speeds of healing. People have certain speeds of achieving certain things. Like when I was going through my personal growth journey and I had my coach, he's like, Roy, you're one of the fastest people to turn this around.
Turn what around?
Turn my life around.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When it comes to like being honest, having honest conversations, be able to communicate my words properly, communicate my feelings, cleaning up my messes, showing up with integrity more and more every day. And the reason why that is because I did the work. Not that I didn't fall backwards, not that I did, but the question wasn't whether or not I fell. It's whether or not how quickly I picked myself up cleaned up my mess, took full responsibility, and went and moved forward. Because what happens when you start taking responsibility for the things that happen is the fact that there is no cutting corners. There is nobody to blame. It's only you. And if you're the only person that you need that takes responsibility for it, then it's easy. And the more you do it, the less times you want to fall. You're more aware of where your shortcomings are. You're more aware of your triggers.
Okay.
Right? Where if for example, I went to the bar, got drunk, and some girl was hitting on me and ended up making out with her in the bathroom. And then I go, hey, Stefano, that's your fault for taking me to the bar.
Which I'm sure happens often.
Which, people get in situations where they don't feel
like, you put me in that situation. I had no choice.
Right.
You had a choice.
But you always have the choice. You are the sum of all your choices. So taking full responsibility. Now, if I'm going to the bar with my friends, and I know if I have a certain amount of drinks in me, I know if. So I'm going to avoid those things because my integrity and my self-worth is much greater.
That takes me to my third. You're just flowing right into the questions I have here. Owning mistakes without excuses. We literally just talked about this. But what about, now I'm going to put a spin on this and you tell me how you would maneuver around this. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. That's the reality of things. Mistakes just happen. But is there ever a good excuse for those mistakes?
I'm going to take mistakes out of there.
Okay.
I'm going to call it lessons.
Okay.
Okay. Life is like riding a bike. In the beginning, you're going to fall a lot. The question is, are you going to learn from falling, or are you going to stay down, or are you going to continue doing the same thing over and over so you keep falling over and over and over, never changing anything, never changing the way you sit, the way you pedal, the way you hold the handlebars, the way you put power through your legs, which gear you're in, right? So you have to be the only person that understands that you are responsible for whatever happens. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. And even more, it happens because of you. You are the cause of everything that's in your life. Where you're at today is because you put yourself there. Because you have some bad luck and nothing goes my way and blah, blah, blah. Because you're not learning the lessons and changing your behaviors to become the person that you need to become.
So I'll defend these people right now and tell you, if people don't know that a mistake is being done, let's assume ignorance is an actual thing.
Okay, so give me a better example of the ignorance of somebody having.
Sometimes when people navigate life, and you yourself have experienced that problem and you see it unfolding for someone else and you see, man, he's going down the wrong path. I could see it. I've been there before. But they haven't learned this lesson yet. So now, do you let them go through that lesson and learn those lessons? Or do you try to talk some sense into them? That's actually a better way I want to put it.
Okay. You cannot help people who do not want to be helped. You cannot give people unsolicited advice. If he came to me or the person came to me and said, look, I'm thinking of doing this and I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I know it's not great, blah, blah, blah. I just need your help. I'd be like, yes, I will help you.
How?
But it depends. How would I help them? First of all, it just depends on where they're at.
Well, keep in mind, when they come to you for help, it doesn't mean that they want help.
Well, first of all, if they ask, chances are they want.
Okay.
Right? Like my question is to you, if you ask me for an ice cream, I'm going to give you an ice cream.
That's a physical attribute. I'm talking about emotional.
Yeah, emotional attribute is like, if someone's going like, I need help, there's two different types. There's people who say, I need help, but they want justification for their actions. Or there's people who want help where they actually do want help. So you can't really tell the difference in the beginning until you see what they do after you give them the help they need. Okay. Somebody comes to me and says like, I'm having problems with my marriage. My wife and I are getting along, yada, yada, yada. I want to go see this girl because she gives me the attention I need. So then it comes to uncovering, what are you actually looking for? Are you showing up for your wife? Are you being aware of her needs? Are you betraying your wife because she needs help and you're ignoring her? So in order for her to get love and attention for you, she has to treat you with disrespect. Like, these are all things that happen in life. Like, how are you showing up? Now, if you ask for my advice and you still go do it and then come back to me and say, but you have to understand.
There it is.
No,
The age-old question.
that it's not, but you have to understand. You have to understand my problems are bigger than yours. My problems are different than his.
What do you say to that?
What's that?
What do you say to that? That you're living the scenario. You're saying the scenario. Everyone
Says, "Oh, I'm special." You're not fucking special. I'm not special. None of us special. All the situations, all of them, all amount to basically one or two different attributes. Am I worthy? And am I lovable? And if Lisa says, am I safe?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll say those three things.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the questions you have to ask yourself. So you're not any different. It doesn't matter if somebody has been molested, somebody's been abused by their parents, somebody who's had an affair, somebody who can't get their life together. These are all the same attributes. Your problem isn't your problem is not any different than anybody else's. The question is what are you willing to do to change it?
This takes me again full circle, man. Now we get to the hardest thing.
Sure.
Respect. Now, I'm not saying, hey, Roy, do you respect me? I'm saying, hey, Roy, do you respect yourself enough to see that you're going to step out of your own ego, realize that there's a problem, and say, if I don't change the path I'm taking, at one point, there is no more path and there's just a cliff that I'm going to fall right off of. So, how do people stop lying to themselves and start respecting themselves? Damn, I'm a good producer. I'm a really good producer.
You're very good. Number one, accept where you're at.
Okay.
Acceptance is the only key to change. Because if you deny where you're at, you deny your issues, you deny what your problems are, you deny your pain, your trauma, you deny all these things, then you have no reason to change. So acceptance is number one. Number two, have you had enough of where you're at in order for you to make the change? Because until the comfortable is so uncomfortable, you have no choice but to get out of it, you'll never get out of it. So some of you have to fall off the cliff. Some of you don't have to break an ankle, but you have to be basically just almost paralyzed. You have no other choice. All you're doing is looking up from the bottom and saying, how the hell did I get down here?
Right. And that's probably the hardest thing people have to overcome.
Right. And some people are like, well, I'm here now. I might as well stay here. Or other people's like, fuck this shit. It's time for me to do something different. And begin the slow journey of crawling out of that hole.
It's one step at a time.
Listen, no one gets out of it like this. It took me about 3 years to get comfortable with my new version of myself.
3 years.
Because it takes time. Like, it's like putting on a new suit. It's like putting on a new suit that's not in style for another 3 years from now. So when you're walking out for the first 3 years, it kind of looks dumb and uncomfortable because people are looking at you a little bit differently. But when you get to that place of just knowing who you are, authentically, you know where your boundaries lie, your healthy boundaries, your goals in life, the way you see the world becomes a place of beauty. And no matter what actually happens, you know that the universe has got your back and the best intentions are going to come from it. And stop acting like, oh, this happened to me now. And like, everything in life happens to be good. It's our perception that gives it meaning.
Oof. Goosebumps, brother.
Right? Because what's happening in front of my house right now, there's construction workers. Some people are saying, oh, I can't believe they're cutting a hole in my street. Now it looks differently. And other people look at it and go, oh, thank God they fixed that pothole that was there.
So then this all depends on how it inconveniences someone's life. Because now you're looking at it from, this is going to improve things. And other people are going to look at it, this is going to make things worse. So it all depends on how you look at it.
Your perspective and your perception are all your own reality. You know, like, I'm a pretty positive person in life. I've always been optimistic that beautiful things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But my real interior part was very pessimistic. But I started accepting that part of me. I'm like, okay, I can be pessimistic about this, but really at the end, what's the worst case scenario? And the worst case scenario is never really that bad. You know, like I talk to my daughters, it's like, Dad, I got to go for a job interview and I don't know what to say. I'm like, don't say anything. Just be yourself. Ask the questions, let them talk.
The last thing I'm going to say, which I think is a great way to end this off, is how do you control your emotions when they start to get out of hand? Let's say you start to dwell on things. You start to really dwell on things with your partner. Your partner doesn't get it. Your partner doesn't see it as a big problem, but you act as if it's a 1,700 pound bag of cement on your back. How can you navigate those mismatched struggles?
First of all, you have to realize where they're coming from.
I'll give Who's you they? You or they?
Both of you do.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to say, if my wife does something that triggers me, it's not about my wife. It's about me. And I'll give you a great example. You ever heard a story of the divorce over coffee cup?
No.
Okay. So husband and wife, the husband would drink coffee, and every day he would take his coffee mug and he'd put it in the kitchen sink. And his wife says to him, can you please put it in the dishwasher? And he's like, what's the big deal? So he did this every day for like 3 years. And one day his wife says, I want a divorce. He's like, why would you want a divorce? She goes, because you never put your coffee cup in the dishwasher. He said, what's the big deal? It's only a coffee cup in the dishwasher. It's not about the coffee cup in the dishwasher. It's like I asked you for something and you didn't have enough love and respect for you to do what was important to me.
And it was asked so many times.
And asked so many times.
Okay.
Right? So like you cannot be, there's bending and then there's bend. Like there's bending certain things and then there's being able to do things that are meaningful to both of you. So if I show up for my wife and I get home from work, it's a long day. She got home from work and she's cooking. The kids are screaming. I kick my shoes off and I go down, open a beer and sit down in front of TV and she's struggling. Well, that's an act of betrayal. There's no respect there. There's no love. But if you come home and say, honey, I'm home. How can I help? Or, hey, listen, I got this. You can grab the kids or I'll go get the kids a bath while we get dinner ready. And just don't have to be told what to do, but just know that you're needed and that you're not the only person in this relationship. A relationship is 100% me and 100% her. We give it all the time.
That's right.
And if I show up with a little bit less energy and I can communicate that with her and say, hey, honey, had a really tough day today. I'm like a 10 out of a 20. She can say, I got you, or we're both low, whatever the case is, but you come together to make sure that you give each other what you need. Okay? And I think that when it comes down to, what was your question again? I know I got off there.
No, you didn't. It's like almost like taking what you want.
Yeah.
And not feeding it off of her. Like you're not given the same energy just because you feel like you're owed. That's essentially what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Listen, you're not owed anything in life.
Thank you. There's my answer. Bingo.
Okay? No one owes you shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. You do things in life to serve your partner, serve others without the expectation of coming over. You just go
right there.
Serve.
You said expectation. Well, Now what about if you give it your all? You give it your 100%. Your partner though gives you 80%. And there's no rhyme or reason why. Let's say that person says nothing's wrong, but she's not giving you that same energy you're giving.
So part of communication is not about what's being said, but what's not being said.
Okay.
And you can say, and you can deal with that in the sense of this, like most people are like, come on, we got to talk to me or whatever the case may be. It should be, honey, I just want to share something with you if you have the energy. Okay. Would this be a good time that I can share? And she'll either say, well, I'm really busy right now. Because you don't want to have a conversation when somebody's in the middle of something. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be present. They're going to be irritated. Oh, they'll be like, oh, what now? But ask them if they have energy. No, honey, I don't. I'm got to finish it. I've got to put the kids away. We'll have a conversation afterwards. Okay. So you go to bed, you sit down and go, honey, it's a good time for us to share. She goes, yes. You know, I love you and I care about you. I just want to know that I feel that I'm not being seen or heard. And not being seen or heard tells me that I'm not that important to you.
Wow. But you went extreme right there. Like now she's going to turn to you and say, whoa,
And
I didn't even realize it.
she might say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But you have to come with facts. You can't just say that and say,
okay.
and she'll be like, what are you talking about? You know, we've had this discussion before, and I've
Okay.
asked you this, man, and you know, we talked about this 4 or 5 times, and this is what's transpired, and it keeps repeating itself. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. So I really need your help to put some light on this. And she may say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize it. Like sometimes my wife and I'll talk, and I'm like, if I start doing this, please call me forward. Don't call me out. It's different. Call me forward.
Mhm.
Say, hey, honey, remember we had this conversation? It's happening. And she starts becoming aware of when it happens, or he starts becoming aware when it happens. Rather than saying, oh, fuck, not again. Keep it when you get that resentment, and one day you just blow the fuck up. That doesn't work,
Bingo.
right?
Yeah.
And part of having integrity is having this challenging conversations. And they're going to be uncomfortable, but they don't have to be an argument. And it's about feeling each other's energy. Like you don't want to have a very serious conversation right after work. You're both tired. Like
Sure.
you don't want that because everyone has a certain amount of energy. And also, when you are having a conversation, allow them to speak.
Sure.
And then they say, Stefano, are you complete? I'm complete. That's
Bingo.
great. I heard everything you said. And I just want to know how important it is for me that you call me forward when I do these things. And I hear you and you are important to me and I do love you. Sometimes I'm just blinded by whatever situation it is.
Now, are you okay if they don't give you an answer right then and there, but they
Yes.
have heard you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because what happens sometimes, they'll say things and then the first initial reaction I would have would be like, go fuck yourself.
Bingo.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
Right?
All of a sudden it's nonsense.
So if you came to me and said, honey, you're doing this, this, and the other thing, and I wasn't sure how to answer it, I'd be, can you just give me a moment?
Process it.
Because I want to come from a place without my ego involved. I want to come from my heart. And I want to analyze this in a sense so I don't become reactive.
Goosebumps, dude. Goosebumps.
And that's the problem. People want to be heard by yelling.
Yes.
I'm Italian. That's how we hear
But
each other.
beyond Italian. Everybody wants to, you know why everybody starts to yell? Because they're having a yelling match inside themselves. And then it has to come out.
What happens is you yell because you need to be louder than your soul.
Put that on a t-shirt, man.
And when you allow your soul to really allow yourself to feel your emotions, there's nothing more soft than being vulnerable.
Of course.
It's the moment that your ego steps in because it wants to be right. I'm right. You're wrong. Instead of a place of understanding. I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I see you. You're important. And you know what? You may not see it my way. And I might not see it your way, but I understand where you're coming from. And I can see and understand where you're coming from. I can see how that hurts you. And you know what? I didn't realize it hurt you, but thank you for communicating that with me because I didn't know. Like all this time you're walking around pissed off at me. I didn't even know that me putting my shoes at the back door bother you that much.
That's right.
Because when I come home, I know they go back in the front and then I'll usually go back in the back, but I didn't realize that that was something that really bothered you. Or I don't do laundry enough. Or, you know, I took the laundry out and threw it on the bed and never folded it. Like there's a lot of little things that we do that after a while just starts to irritate each other. Like,
Sure.
it's just
It'll
human
add
beings,
up.
right? Just the little things that it's not the big things. The big things just happen and then you have to deal with it. It's a little thing sometimes you don't realize, but the little things add up to be big things after a while.
Exactly.
So make sure you nip them when you can. When you feel that something is starting to create an emotional stir in you, take a moment and find out what that is. I guarantee you, because the person doing that, number one, probably doesn't realize it, but it makes you feel like you're going back to your childhood, that you're not seen, you're not heard, you're not loved, you're not worthy. Why am I not worthy to make sure my front entrance is uncluttered? So it means I told him, but he must not love me because he's not hearing me.
There it is.
And this is the circle it runs at. So like, oh, if he doesn't love me, then I have to look for love somewhere else.
So now it stems into something else. Yes.
Exactly. But there's also one thing I want to talk about, Stefano, is there is a knowing that you cannot explain.
Bingo.
So when you're in a relationship, and I'm going to tell you this, my ex-wife, I had a soul knowing that it was wrong, that I shouldn't be with her, but I did it because it was the right thing to do and not the honorable thing to do. And because I betrayed myself there, it created betrayal in my whole relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What she did drove me crazy. What I did drove her crazy. And it's funny because when I was going through my personal journey, I went to talk to my coach, and he's like, well, if you didn't want to marry her, why do you think she was always so angry? Like, because innately she knew that you didn't want to marry her, but she felt like she won because she got you, but it's still not healthy.
Sure.
And you don't need reasons for anything. If you wake up in the morning and you have a gut-wrenching feeling that you shouldn't be with this person, then you probably shouldn't be. And it's not going to negotiate with you in words. Mm-hmm. That's your ego. Yeah, but she's hot and she's got a good family.
Doesn't matter.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That is your ego talking.
Sure.
Right? But if you just listen to your heart and listen to your soul, it just whispers a little bit. It just nudges you here and there. It gives you little signs, but you ignore those signs.
You got to hear my whisper now. My whisper is, you got to look at that camera.
Hey, yeah.
And you got to tell them exactly where they can find you because you're a gem.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, thank you again for watching. This is The Integrity Project. You can find me on all social media platforms. Like, follow, share, and we really appreciate you watching. Thanks very much.
Until next time.
Yes. Yes, sir.